Nestled in the heart of Seine-et-Marne, just a few dozen kilometers east of Paris, Château de Ferrières stands majestically as a symbol of 19th-century opulence, a structure built from 1855 to 1859 by Baron James Mayer de Rothschild, the founder of the French branch of the legendary banking dynasty. James, the youngest son of Meyer Amschel Rothschild from Frankfurt, had risen to become one of the most powerful financiers in Europe, lending money to dynasties and governments during the turbulent era of the French Revolution and the Napoleonic Wars. Upon seeing Mentmore Towers, the home of his nephew in England, designed by architect Joseph Paxton, James is said to have declared, "Build me a Mentmore, but bigger." And Paxton did exactly that, creating Château de Ferrières in the Goût Rothschild style, blending Italian Renaissance with grand English magnificence, featuring soaring domes, exquisitely carved atlas columns by Charles-Henri Joseph Cordier, and murals overseen by Eugène Lamy. The chateau boasted a library with over 8,000 rare books, 80 guest rooms, and an underground tunnel system to transport food from a separate kitchen, all designed to host lavish gatherings. At its inauguration in 1862, Napoleon III himself attended, marking the pinnacle of Rothschild prosperity in France. The vast estate surrounding the chateau, with its hunting forests and model farms, became a gathering place for Europe's elite, where guests like Bismarck once stayed before history took a darker turn. Yet behind this splendor lay a Jewish family that had risen from the Frankfurt ghetto, always watched by envious and hostile eyes in 19th-century European society, where anti-Semitism simmered, waiting to erupt. Château de Ferrières was not merely a residence, it was a symbol of financial power, a luxurious fortress amid the peaceful French countryside, where the Rothschild family seemed to have found lasting stability after generations of migration and struggle. When World War II descended, darkness enveloped France swiftly and brutally. In 1940, following the lightning defeat by German forces, the Vichy government under Marshal Philippe Pétain enacted anti-Semitic laws, seizing the assets of prominent Jewish families, including the Rothschilds. The family fled Paris, leaving behind immense properties. Château de Ferrières, strategically located near the capital, was quickly requisitioned by the occupying German forces. For the second time in its history, after the Franco-Prussian War of 1870, when Bismarck used it as headquarters, the chateau fell into German hands. But this time, the occupation was not temporary. It brought systematic looting. Vast art collections, including priceless paintings, antique furniture, and rare books from the Grand Library, were plundered thoroughly by the ERR, Einsatzstab Reichsleiter Rosenberg, the unit dedicated to seizing cultural assets from Jews. Masterpieces, porcelain, and sculptures were carefully packed and shipped to Germany for the museums of the Third Reich or the personal collections of Nazi leaders like Hermann Göring. The chateau, once ablaze with the lights of grand parties, now stood silent under occupation, its interiors stripped bare, leaving only empty walls to witness the collapse of a family empire. Guy de Rothschild, the heir of that generation, fled to America, watching from afar as his ancestral legacy was plundered. This occupation was not merely material loss, it was a profound wound to dignity, as a family that had helped build modern France was thrust into darkness solely because of their Jewish origins. After liberation in 1944, the chateau remained empty, like a ghost of the past, awaiting years of prolonged silence. After the Allies entered France, Château de Ferrières was returned to the Rothschild family, but what remained was only the glamorous shell of its former glory. The looted art collections had vanished into Nazi troves in Germany, some hidden in castles like Neuschwanstein, where American forces later discovered thousands of stolen works from France. Guy de Rothschild, born in 1909, returned from exile carrying a heavy burden, not just the loss of property, but the violation of family memory. The chateau stood vast and cold, its long corridors, once echoing with the laughter of aristocracy, now filled only with the wind whistling through broken windows. From 1945 to 1959, Ferrières truly lay abandoned, uninhabited, and unrepaired, like a secret buried after the war. The Rothschild family, though regaining ownership, chose silence about these losses in the early post-war years. France was rebuilding, scarred by occupation and collaboration, and publicly pursuing assets seized under the Vichy Nazi regime could stir sensitive controversies. Some artwork was returned through the efforts of the Monuments Men, the Allied unit dedicated to recovering stolen works, but many pieces were lost forever, absorbed into the black market or private collections. Château de Ferrières became a silent symbol of post-war secrets, rooms that once held treasures now empty, walls still bearing traces of the occupiers. Guy, shouldering the responsibility of restoring family honor, initially focused on other properties, allowing Ferrières to slumber in the deep forest, a reminder of prosperity's fragility. In post-war France, where many Jewish families sought reintegration without reopening the wounds of the Holocaust, the chateau carried an air of mystery, a forgotten relic as the nation looked toward the future. In 1959, a new chapter began when Guy de Rothschild, following his second marriage to Marie-Hélène de Zuilen van Nijevelt, a beautiful and energetic Catholic aristocrat, decided to revive the chateau. Marie-Hélène, with her refined aesthetic sense, led a massive restoration, transforming Ferrières from post-war ruins into a symbol of luxury once more. They filled the voids with new furniture, modern art, and turned the estate into a hub for high society. But beneath this revival lay secrets kept close. The family never fully publicized the details of what was lost, how some artworks were returned through quiet diplomatic channels, or Guy's personal pain in seeing his ancestors' legacy plundered. Marie-Hélène, with her non-Jewish background, brought balance, helping Guy move beyond the shadow of the past without letting it define the future. The revival of Château de Ferrières under Guy and Marie-Hélène was not just architectural restoration, but a profound emotional healing journey. From 1959 onward, the chateau gradually regained its vitality, hosting lavish parties that drew Europe's elite. From Audrey Hepburn to Brigitte Bardot, from Salvador Dali to Grace Kelly. Marie-Hélène, with her innate talent for organization, turned Ferrières into a stage for legendary events, most famously the 1972 Surrealist Ball, a dreamlike night inspired by Dali, with masked guests, tables covered in fur, and a living cat maze. These parties were more than entertainment. They were the Rothschild family's way of declaring their return, masking war scars beneath layers of splendor. Yet the post-war secrets lingered. The chateau's 14-year emptiness was no accident, but a deliberate pause for the family to process loss, avoiding public confrontation with accusations of collaboration or asset disputes in a divided French society. Guy, who had served in de Gaulle's Free French forces, bore a double burden, victim of the Nazis, yet a symbol of wealth under suspicion. Keeping the looting details private, despite some art being returned, helped protect family honor as France sought to forget the dark Vichy years. Ferrières, surrounded by forests and serene lakes, became a sanctuary where the past was buried under fresh paint and joyous music. In 1975, Guy and Marie-Hélène decided to donate the chateau to the Chancellerie des Universités de Paris, retaining only a small house in the woods. This was not merely philanthropy. It was a way to close a painful chapter, handing Ferrières over to public purpose and transforming a private symbol into national heritage. Today, the chateau serves as a high-end hospitality training school, welcoming visitors to admire its Renaissance beauty without knowing the full depth of its layered history. Château de Ferrières stands today, quietly telling the story of a family's resilience through the darkness of war. The secrets kept after World War II, the prolonged emptiness, the irrecoverable art losses, and the Rothschild's silent pain have now blended into France's broader history. The chateau reminds us that behind opulence lie deep human wounds, where financial power could not fully shield against hatred. From a 19th century banking empire symbol to a victim of Nazi occupation, then reborn as a cultural center, Ferrières testifies to human regeneration. Walls that once witnessed plunder now echo with students' laughter, but memories of those silent post-war years endure, a secret preserved by history with humanity and calm. In this journey, the Rothschild family did not just build a chateau, they built a legacy of survival, reminding future generations of the value of memory and forgiveness.